That's the reason why the name Bharosa is there, because I want girls and women to understand and truly believe that you can look good even in modest wear. Hijab nahi pehna tha. Kafi time zindagi mein. Once you get married and you move on and you go into your own home and everything, you kind of you get lesser time with your family.
Beyond 9 to 5, अगर आपके पास कुछ और भी है ना करने के लिए, apart from being a mom and a wife, you still have a different feeling कि मैं कुछ कर रही हूँ अपनी ज़िंदगी में.
Success कभी भी आपको motivation से नहीं मिलती, हमेशा discipline से मिलती है.
Everyone wants to become a content creator.
Exactly.
Without knowing that there is a lot of responsibility that comes along with. Hi guys, welcome back to the Fat Kid Show, जहां हम करेंगे गपशप एकदम ही अनफिल्टर्ड. अगर आपने मेरे चैनल को अब तक सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया, do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, JioSaavn and Angami. In today's episode, it's going to be a very heart-to-heart conversation with our guest. She's a mom. She's also a full-time entrepreneur, and also she has a full-time job. She is juggling between multiple roles and also trying to balance her faith and spirituality. And that's exactly why I thought in Ramadan it'll be a great talk to have with Heba Qadeer. Welcome to the channel.
Thank you so much for having me.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. Really good. How are you?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. Heba, tell me, what is Bharosa? Directly to the point.
Directly to the point. So, Bharosa is my passion project. It's something I've wanted to do for the longest time. It is my modest wear brand, which merges two cultures initially, which is basically, I'm originally from Pakistan, but I'm born and brought up in the Middle East. And I love the Middle Eastern culture. I love the modesty that they bring with their abayas and everything. But I also love my Pakistani culture with the colors and the fabrics and the designs. So I wanted to mix both of them together and create something that's for the third culture kid. Because as we all know, all over the world, we all resonate with more than one culture.
Yeah.
And that's where also kind of the name comes from, Bharosa, because we have so many different identities that we resonate with. Because I'm a Pakistani, but I also have a lot of Middle Eastern traits. I also have a lot of different cultures that I interact with. So, you kind of adapt to their fashion senses and their style senses as well at the same time. So I wanted to kind of do that in a modest way.
What is that one element from the UAE culture and one element from the Pakistani culture that you got together?
For
in
Bharosa?
terms of design, yes.
In terms of design, so the abaya itself is from the Middle Eastern culture. And then when it comes to the design or the colors you would specifically wear, like for example, I have the one that I'm wearing right now, this is a very, very green Pakistani flag color.
It's beautiful.
Thank you so much. This is a very green Pakistani color. And then I have another one, actually all of them that I have, they all have different elements, like gote ka kaam bhi hua hua hai, mere abayas pe, kuch shishe ka kaam bhi hua hua hai. So they're all...
Which is very unique, right?
Yeah.
We usually don't get all of this here.
That's kind of the whole point.
Yeah. So when did it start, by the way?
It started 3 years ago. I started it, believe it or not, I went to a vision boarding workshop. And I kind of just wrote all of my goals down of what I wanted to do. And I've wanted to be an entrepreneur for the longest time. And I always held myself back because I had the support. I had everyone telling me, you can do it, tum kar sakti ho, you have it in you, and you have the skills and everything. But I was holding myself back because I was like, thoda aur skills mil jaye, thodi aur experience aa jaye, thoda aur ye, thoda aur wo. And it took me a long time to get to that point. And then when I went to my vision boarding workshop, I was writing my goals down of what I wanted to achieve. And then after that workshop, I got home and I don't know what it was, but my mind was just buzzing with ideas of what I wanted to do. And I was like, okay, let me just write it down. And I started writing it down. And then it just started becoming from, okay, if I want to launch, let's say by Ramadan, because I knew what I wanted to do, what do I need to do? Then I just backtracked. If I want to launch by Ramadan, 2 weeks before Ramadan, I need to do this, by this date, and then I'll be good to launch. And it just happened like that. I still don't know how it happened because it took me so long for it to come to fruition. But when it did, it happened like that.
It just made you realize the vision board workshop.
honestly, it works.
Yeah.
It really
did
works.
you write a vision board for this year?
This नहीं, not yet. मैंने चीज़ें लेके रखी हुई हैं लेकिन अभी किया नहीं है. दिमाग में है. I'm just trying to achieve all the things that I can at the moment.
Who
So yeah.
designs the abaya?
Me, myself. So so far it's been me and my mom. We work very closely together. My mom is the only. I think she's the one reason why I have the fashion sense that I do. I owe it all to her. क्योंकि बचपन से जब भी मैं पाकिस्तान जाती थी मामा के साथ, शादी होती थी, ईद होती थी, रमदान होते थे, कुछ भी बनाना होता था, मैं मामा के साथ जाती थी, कपड़े की दुकान पे फैब्रिक ख़रीदना, ये ख़रीदना, कढ़ाई करवाना, किस किस्म का काम चाहिए, नहीं चाहिए, सितारे, everything my mom taught me from every single thing. So I used to go with her, and that's how I kind of, it just stayed at the back of my head. And when I wanted to launch what I did, I knew the person that I wanted to work with was my mother. And I think that's why this brand holds so much value to me. It's because it also gives me another excuse to spend time with my mom, because once you get married and you move on and you go into your own home and everything, you kind of you get lesser time with your family, obviously. तो वो time मुझे जब अपनी mom के साथ मिलता है, it's just exceptional. It's like the best thing for me.
You have like a new collection which is launching this Ramadan?
Yes, inshallah, I am hoping that it comes into place. I'm working on it right now. लेकिन सच बताऊँ तो टेलर बहुत तंग करते हैं.
हाँ?
बहुत तंग करते हैं भाई, बहुत तंग करते हैं. तो इंशाल्लाह मेरी पूरी कोशिश है कि इस रमज़ान में भी मैं कुछ नया लॉन्च करूँ. डिज़ाइंस रेडी हैं, सब कुछ रेडी है, बस टेलर बहुत तंग कर.
Would you like to have your own team future में?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I picture Bharosa to be the world's best and biggest modest wear brand.
Inshallah.
Bharosa is not just a small business for me. My dreams for Bharosa is that it is going to be the world's biggest modest wear brand to exist. It's going to be the Prada of modest wear.
Inshallah.
That's what I hope for, inshallah, inshallah, inshallah.
I do love the name. It's
Thank you.
beautiful. It speaks a lot. It has a lot of emotions attached.
It does, because Bharosa itself not just means trust, but I wanted women to understand that Bharosa is got to do with not just trusting yourself, but also trusting that modest wear looks good. You don't need to be worried about whether it looks good or not, because I know I struggled with being a bit more modest. मतलब कभी भी इतने छोटे कपड़े नहीं पहने, लेकिन हिजाब नहीं पहना था काफ़ी टाइम ज़िंदगी में. पहना था, फिर उतार दिया था. लेकिन और ये hesitation मुझे बहुत लड़कियों से मिलती भी थी on Instagram, or I would get messages from girls telling me that I'm not sure if I can wear the hijab, I'm scared I won't look good, or especially पाकिस्तानी कपड़ों के साथ तो बिल्कुल भी अच्छा नहीं लगता, and things like that. But that's the reason why the name Bharosa is there, because I want girls and women to understand and truly believe that you can look good even in modest wear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Thank
Heba.
you
That's
so
really.
much.
How is Heba now after starting Bharosa?
A very, very busy person.
That we'll talk about for sure. But beyond that, how do you feel accomplishing something that you've been looking forward for a very long time?
I feel fulfilled. I'm not gonna lie. It feels like I'm fulfilling a bigger purpose. मुझे हमेशा से एक ये feeling होगी, and I'm sure other people can relate to it. Other girls can relate to it, where you feel like you're meant for something a lot bigger than yourself.
Okay.
And you want to do things like that make you feel like you're helping people in some way, that you're helping them learn something new, and just something from a bigger perspective rather than just your daily 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 or whatever it is that you do. Something that's a lot more bigger than that. And that is what I've always yearned for. And I've always aimed for, and I always wanted to do. लेकिन कभी समझ नहीं आती थी कि करूँ क्या. और हमेशा अपने अंदर ये जो anxiety होती थी कि, oh, what if it fails?
Yeah.
What if it doesn't work out? Oh, what are people going to say? She's launching her own brand, but she hasn't even done a fashion design course.
Yeah.
She doesn't even know how to design.
And amongst all this, you still have support from your family and
Absolutely.
your husband.
Absolutely.
And yet you keep on doubting yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? Because our biggest enemy is ourselves.
Yeah.
Our biggest enemy is ourselves, because like you said, family support hai, husband support hai, meri bachchi bhi support karti hai in a way where she sees something that I try on. Like today, for example, when I dressed up and I came and she said, "Mama, you look so beautiful," which is so adorable to me. And she looks up to these things as well. And I want her to grow up to be a woman as well who sees that women can do a lot. And, that feeling of fulfillment has only come from Bharosa.
Yeah. And you know, one more thing is that beyond 9 to 5, अगर आपके पास कुछ और भी है ना करने के लिए,
Yeah.
apart from being a mom and a wife,
Yeah.
you still have a different feeling कि मैं कुछ कर रही हूँ अपनी ज़िंदगी में. 9 to
Absolutely.
5 तो है, वो तो चल रहा है हमारा.
Yeah.
But उसके अलावा
Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100% क्योंकि 9 to 5 जो आप कर रहे हो वो आप किसी और की जेब में पैसे डाल रहे हो.
yes.
ठीक
और
है?
उतनी मेहनत हम हमारे लिए करेंगे
Exactly. यही मेरा रोना होता है all the time कि जितनी मेहनत हम 8, 9, 10 घंटे गुजारते हैं अपने हफ्ते के 5 दिन, कभी-कभी 6 दिन
Yeah.
for some people, right? We spend that much time for somebody else's business where we're giving them millions,
Yeah.
millions,
And
if not
especially
billions.
people in marketing and sales feel the most.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course,
And
because you
have
know the numbers.
Yes.
It's because you know the numbers and you see the cost.
And you know the trick as well.
And you know the trick as well. And you know what makes marketing, because I work in marketing full time as well, right? As a marketeer, you need to know what makes people want something even if they don't want it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You don't need to have a luxury bag every second week. No, you don't.
The ad
Realistically,
influence is so much.
the ad influence is what makes you want it. Your next big influencer carrying the next big branded bag is what makes you want it. And especially living in a society where, you know, always being dressed up, always looking glamorous, always looking on point, always wearing the next best thing. And if you're wearing last season, it's kind of like, did you just repeat your outfit? Like, it's a bit over here, unfortunately. It is like that.
But it's all within you. What do you want to prioritize?
Exactly.
It's
and
really
that
you who you want to
exactly.
prioritize.
And that is what I find very difficult to understand, is that societal pressure will always exist.
Did you struggle this while growing up in Dubai? Like during your college days and your early age of your job? Did you have this dilemma, oh, should I buy a Louis Vuitton? Or should I just save? Do I need this? I'm getting influenced because she's carrying a Coach bag and I don't have it.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Being a girl who's always been invested heavily in fashion, I always wanted to have a Louis Vuitton or a Prada or a Chanel. I always wanted to, but कभी भी ऐसा नहीं था कि मैं अपनी चादर से बाहर पाँव फैलाऊं और मुझे वो चाहिए, मतलब क्रेडिट कार्ड बिल्स चढ़ा दूं और फिर लूं. एक ये चीज़ हमेशा से मेरे दिमाग में थी कि अगर लूंगी तो अर्न करके लूंगी. मतलब if I get that Louis Vuitton bag, I'm gonna make sure I've earned it.
So you had a reality check.
I had a reality check, alhamdulillah, and I owe that to my parents.
Yeah.
I owe
जितनी
that to my
चादर है
parents.
उतनी ही पैर फैलाओ.
Exactly. That I owe completely to my parents. लेकिन आजकल के ज़माने में that's very difficult for children, I feel, because they're so heavily invested into their devices and their phones and screens and everything, and their entire lifestyle is just based off of TikTok.
And unknowingly, they have a lot of competition with their peers saying that, oh, she got it, I need to get it as
Absolutely.
well. Yeah.
Absolutely, which is terribly sad.
Are you scared, like, what will happen when your girl grows up?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think any parent in this day and age would be terrified because of how AI and influencers and everything are taking over. And majority of the influencers now are basing their opinions off of basically clickbait.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this from a perspective of also being a content creator, that I know what content works. Clickbait.
It's a very common practice now.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to become a content creator.
Exactly.
Without knowing that there is a lot of responsibility that comes along with it.
Exactly.
People don't care when to full stop. People don't care how much to show on the social media.
Yeah.
And it's just going down the drain. I'm
Yeah.
really scared of kids having smartphones these
Exactly.
days. Because I don't know what will they end up scrolling and which algorithm, what will happen in which shot they'll be
Don't
seeing.
don't ask, Rishma. Oh my God, don't ask. The things I've seen online, it's crazy. The things I have seen online, it's really, really crazy. And you're absolutely 100% right. बच्चे आजकल जो देखते हैं वो उसी से तो inspire होके वो करने की कोशिश करेंगे. Like, and it's crazy because I, believe it or not, I heard my daughter the other day, she was watching some video and she just randomly, one of the days, she started going, ra, ra, and I'm like, why is my 3-year-old singing a Lady Gaga song? And I got terribly scared. And it was just a video of like Peppa Pig or one of the cartoons with the cover song of Lady Gaga. And I know that it's nothing. I know, I saw the video, it was nothing. It didn't mean it wasn't anything like too harsh or something she shouldn't be watching. But the point of me mentioning is you're getting exposed indirectly to something you shouldn't be at that age.
Yeah.
And how much can you actually control it?
Yeah.
And it's scary. It's very, very scary. And influencers, like you've said, have a huge responsibility, and they don't realize it. क्योंकि आगे जो बच्चे अब बड़े होंगे वो इन्हीं चीज़ों में बड़े हो रहे हैं.
Yeah.
And how do you protect your children as much as you can? So as a parent, yes, it's terrifying. It's
Scary.
terrifying.
I don't have a son or a daughter yet, but I'm scared already.
Yeah, it's very,
Thinking
very
about
scary.
it.
It's बहुत डर लगता है, लेकिन इंशाल्लाह अल्लाह मदद करेंगे
Inshallah.
इंशाल्लाह.
Heba, I want to know, how do you manage everything? You're a mom. You have a role of being a wife. You need to give time to your husband. A daughter, because now that your parents also stay in Dubai. Entrepreneur and work. And also friends.
I think you have to learn how to prioritize very well. You really need to know. One of the key things that I learned, and it's actually a book I also just read very recently. It's called Time Management in Islam, the book that I read. And it was a completely new perspective for me because I'm a very spiritual person. And at the same time, time is something that I've struggled with because I've had so many roles to play. So when I found that book, it made me realize also something that was always there at the back of my mind, which is time management is key. हमें एहसास नहीं होता कि वक्त कितनी जल्दी गुजर रहा है. If you look at these apps that we have, whether Reels or TikTok or all of these videos that we watch on these apps, they all are meant to take time away from us at the end of the day, because time is what makes successful people. Because if you manage your time well, that is when you can achieve all your goals, and if you prioritize. So I would say number one would be priority list set करो कि सबसे पहले करना क्या सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है. That अगर ये नहीं किया तो मतलब सांस नहीं ले सकते. So सबसे पहली चीज़ is priority.
But
And
what
then
if social media distracts you at that point?
ज़बरदस्ती करनी पड़ती है अपने साथ.
किया है ऐसा?
Discipline, हाँ बहुत किया है, बहुत दफ़ा किया है, और कहीं दफ़ा फेल भी हुई हूँ.
Also because you're a content creator,
Exactly.
you're bound to be on the phone a lot.
Exactly.
Plus हम marketing में है तो और ज़्यादा phone हो जाता है.
Exactly.
Because even at work I'm at my phone
Exactly.
half the time.
Yeah, तो अपने साथ काफ़ी दफ़ा failure भी हुआ है कि टाइम ज़ाया हो गया है, लेकिन I've had to suffer and then catch up with it later, which has then either affected my sleep or something else. और फिर जब वो एहसास होता है कि okay, I really messed up, my time is really not working, then you kind of just discipline yourself for the next time. And I think I posted a video on my Instagram a while ago that success कभी भी आपको motivation से नहीं मिलती, हमेशा discipline से मिलती है.
Yeah, makes sense.
क्योंकि अगर आप मोटिवेशन का इंतज़ार करेंगे, आज है कल नहीं है, परसों फिर दोबारा आ जाएगी, लेकिन इसका मतलब क्या होगा? कंसिस्टेंसी नहीं है.
It comes in waves.
Exactly. लेकिन अगर आपके पास डिसिप्लिन है तो आपके पास कंसिस्टेंसी है. I sound like my dad right now. My dad used to say this to me when I was growing up. बेटा डिसिप्लिन होना चाहिए.
Oh yeah. What is other takeaway from the book that you've learned?
Sorry?
What is the other takeaway from the book?
From that book? One thing
And that you've implemented in your life.
The priorities thing,
Yeah.
absolutely the priorities thing. और एक इस्लामिक पर्सपेक्टिव टाइम मैनेजमेंट का मैंने पर्सनली कभी नहीं देखा था, रेशमा. ओके, मैंने कभी नहीं देखा था. और जब मैंने उस बुक में पढ़ा कि आवर प्रॉफेट मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम, how he used to manage his time.
Yeah.
Okay, and then in that book, believe it or not, they broke it down in a way where he gave time to his family and his wives, multiple. Okay, and remember, again, you have to remember that in Islam you cannot have multiple wives if you cannot be fair to each one of them.
Yes.
Whether it's financially, emotionally, or in any other way. You have to be equal to each one of them. So he gave time to his wives, he gave time for salah, he gave time for dhikr, he gave time for anything else, for revelation. When Jibreel alayhi salam used to come to him, he gave time for doing da'wah. He gave time for the politics of that time when
Yes.
they were trying to spread Islam. And then he also gave time to his children. And then he also gave time to his grandchildren. And that was all mentioned in his book, about how, in this book, that this is how our Prophet managed his time. And I'm not kidding. When I read that, the perfect person that every Muslim is supposed to look up to, and to be honest, even non-Muslims, because it's been written in many, many books that he's one of the greatest people to have ever been written about in the history, in all of history. So if you actually go and read about him and all the things that he's done in his life, and then you think about how he was fair to every single person in his life, even somebody who would randomly come to him and speak to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam about an issue they might be having, or some conflict that was going on or anything else, he would give them his full time and attention.
And if he could, then why can't
And
we?
if he could, and if he's meant to be the person that we fully look up to and learn from, why can't we?
Yeah.
So
It's giving me goosebumps.
it should. It gave me
Yeah,
goosebumps.
yeah.
It gave me goosebumps because it is actually a complete mindset shift that you get. जब आपको रियलाइज होता है कि ज़िंदगी एक्चुअली ये नहीं है कि आप बस फ़ोन पे बैठ के स्क्रॉल करते रहो पूरे दिन. It's not supposed to be like that. Life is supposed to be about spending time with your family and spending time with your friends and then spending time for work and then spending time with your children and then spending time doing something for yourself, learning something new. हर चीज़ अपनी सेहत का ख्याल रखना, अच्छा खाना खाना, going to the gym and working out and looking after your health. All of these things, for women, looking beautiful, all of these things as well, they take time. और इन सारी चीज़ों का आपका जिस्म को भी आपके ऊपर हक है. और अगर आप अच्छा खाना नहीं खा रहे, अपना ख्याल नहीं रख रहे, तो ये सारी चीज़ें भी आप मतलब एक गुनाह में शामिल होती हैं फिर, क्योंकि इन सब चीज़ों का आपके ऊपर हक है. और फिर आखिरत में जब अल्लाह पूछेंगे कि अब हर चीज़ का हक आपने क्यों नहीं दिया सही से, आप क्या जवाब दोगे? तो all of these things that I read in the book, it really like shifted my perspective on how I need to look at life.
I'm going to ask you for the book name.
I will
so
tell
that-
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will tell you, and then you can
Yes,
tell everyone.
I can tell
Absolute
you.
read, must read.
Yeah, wow, because this is a great Ramadan read, I think.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And you know, the biggest struggle is people think that Islam is so strict that you can't do this, you can't do that.
Yeah.
But there's a way out in Islam for everything.
Absolutely.
And even that can be applied in the modern world. It's not something that you have to be just behind the doors and do nothing.
Yeah, I agree with
Yeah.
you 100%. Islam is a way of life.
It's a way of life. It's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
Yes.
Islam is not just आप नमाज पढ़ो और मतलब तस्बीह पकड़ के बैठ जाओ और मस्जिद में घुसे रहो. नहीं, अगर आपका वो इस्लाम है तो ये आपका सही इस्लाम नहीं है.
You know, people talk about manifestation right
Yeah.
now, but manifestation is just dua.
Exactly.
And
ये
I-
vision boarding की जो मैं बात
Yes.
करी थी, ये क्या है? यही तो है.
Yes.
जो आप
It's just
दुआ करते
another
हो, वो आप
term.
नीचे लिख रहे हो.
हाँ जी,
बस.
आप सिर्फ वो term change कर रहे हो, manifestation, and it's trending. But we've been asking for dua since forever. And yeah, when people talk about manifestation, sometimes I laugh. I'm like, हाँ दुआ मांग रहे हो.
Basically, मतलब आप दुआ ही तो मांग रहे हो. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you in this time struggling with everything, managing everything, learning more about yourself? Because I know for a fact कि हेबा 3 साल पहले ये नहीं थी.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is that? Why did you shift so much into spirituality? What happened? If you are okay to talk about
No,
it.
of course. देखो रेशमा, ज़िंदगी में ऐसी बहुत चीज़ें होती हैं जो अप एंड डाउन हमेशा होती रहती हैं.
Correct.
ठीक है. और as everyone else, I've also had those moments in my life, and mental health is also something I've fairly struggled with, mainly with anxiety. And I've always felt कि जब भी मैं दीन से थोड़ा दूर जाती हूँ ना, मुझे नज़र आ जाता है कि मेरी ज़िंदगी थोड़ी ना बिखरने लग जाती है. और फिर मैं दीन के पास वापस आती हूँ, as does majority of the Muslim ummah.
Yes.
Because आपको ये रियलाइज़ होता है कि आप अल्लाह के पास सबसे ज़्यादा तब जाते हो जब आपकी ज़िंदगी में मुश्किलें आती हैं. ठीक है. And something I've learned from my brother, my elder brother, and he's taught me this, and honestly I've tried to live by it, and may Allah bless him for teaching me this, is that जब आपका अच्छा वक्त चल रहा होता है ना ज़िंदगी में, उस वक्त ज़्यादा इबादत किया करो. क्यों? क्योंकि अक्सर क्या होता है, people don't pray enough, or they don't do dhikr enough, or they're not as grateful, और शुक्र नहीं करते जब ज़िंदगी में अच्छा टाइम आया हुआ होता है. So what happens? बुरा वक्त आ जाता है. And I'm not saying that that's a way of punishing you, but it's a way of Allah calling you back, that oh, because you have troubles, you will call me.
Yeah.
As in call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So जब अच्छा वक्त आता है ना, तो उस वक्त ज़्यादा इबादत किया करो कि अल्लाह ताला और अच्छे वक्त दिया करे. And that has stuck with me in a way. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because spirituality is something I've always, alhamdulillah, I've had in me. I've always struggled with it. I think that goes with anybody who's trying to practice Islam.
Yes.
आपका ईमान ऊपर नीचे होता रहता है. But it's something that I've always known in my heart. और हमेशा feel किया है कि इस्लाम के साथ चलो तो ज़िंदगी थोड़ी संभली रहती है. मुश्किलें तो फिर भी आती रहती हैं, because that's what life is all about. But Islam is a way of life, and to be honest, to me, it's the best kind of way of life.
Since you put in the faith, ऐसा लगता है कि Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help you no matter what, कितना भी
Absolutely.
problem आए.
Absolutely.
And you know, whenever there is problem, you have always two ways to choose.
Yeah.
Either you go towards Islam or you divert. And if you divert, you are gone.
Exactly.
Completely.
क्योंकि यही होता है ना, देखो अल्लाह ताला ने हमें सारे साइंस दे चुके हैं.
Yes.
वो हमें सारे साइंस दे चुके हैं, हमें सब कुछ बता चुके हैं. Everything is at our disposal. And if we're looking for signs, if we're asking for some extra additional sign, like, oh yeah, oh God, please give me another sign के, you know, I'm supposed to follow the path. भाई आंखें खोल के आसमान की तरफ देखो, तुम्हारा sign वहीं पे है. You can see the blue sky. You think a human painted it? Come on. You think a human painted the sky blue? No. No. All of these things, the signs already exist. But जब इंसान इस बात पे यकीन कर लेना कि इस्लाम के रास्ते पे चलते साथ ही ज़िंदगी एक how do I put this? I'm not sure how to put this, but it's just that your life will stay, you're basically fulfilling your purpose of life.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can say it. Because we actually have come into this world for one purpose and one purpose only.
Yeah.
And if we stray from that by going the other way, we're always just going to end up failing, whether it's in this dunya or akhirah. बहुत डीप हो रहे हैं, मतलब थोड़ा डर लग रहा है.
नहीं
फतवे पास हो रहे हैं यहाँ पे.
No, I mean, this side of Heba, I don't think a lot of people has also seen. I know you do talk about spirituality and religion. You're in there, but I'm glad we spoke about it.
I'm very happy. This is something I've always wanted to talk about, to be honest. I'm not going to lie, because मेरा हमेशा से एक चीज़ थी कि मैं जो भी करूँ, I want to inspire people more towards Islam, to be able to raise awareness and raise knowledge and increase knowledge in people and all of that. लेकिन कभी भी मैं ये नहीं चाहती थी कि कोई बोले कि ये तो कोई स्कॉलर तो है नहीं, इतना पढ़ी लिखी तो है नहीं इस्लाम के मामले में, तो ये क्या आके बातें कर रही है.
Heba, the biggest thing is कि when a woman my age, ठीक है, can talk about her journey, that is more inspiring to me. I'm not kidding about it, because I would like to talk from understand from your experience rather than a scholar. Scholar है मुझे सही गलत बताने के लिए, but what you've gone through, maybe the scholar can't tell me.
I understand where you're coming from, Reshma, but it becomes also a bit challenging क्योंकि खुदा न खास्ता मुझसे कोई गलती हो जाए, मुझसे कोई गलती हो जाए और मैं कोई गलत चीज़ खुदा न खास्ता तो मैं बता दूँ और तुम उस पर अमल कर जाओ, you know, तो वो, और फिर चाइनीज़ विस्पर भी तो होता है कि मैंने तुम्हें कुछ बताया, तुमने किसी और को कुछ बताया, किसी और ने किसी और को जाके बता दिया. मतलब ये सारी चीज़ें दिमाग में आती हैं कि या अल्लाह मैं कोई गुनाह ना कर बैठूँ, क्योंकि सारी चीज़ें हैं, किताबें हैं, कुरान है, हदीस की कितनी किताबें, वीडियोज़ हैं. आजकल तो टिकटॉक और यूट्यूब शॉर्ट्स, यूट्यूब, anything you want to know, there's so many scholars that I personally listen to as well. There's Mufti Menk, there's Nouman Ali Khan, there's what's his name, Muhammad Hoblos, I think. I really like him. I know he's a bit aggressive, but I love him. All of these scholars that talk to you, that give these lectures on Islam that can help you learn more, so that's where my hesitance comes in कि मैं अगर खुदा ना खास्ता कोई गलती कर दूँ, but they're more learned. So if people want, they can go and learn.
Yeah, but that motivation will come from you.
Allah
Somebody
करे,
like
inshallah.
you. Heba, what happened during the time when you left hijab?
कौन सा time?
तुमने हिजाब पहनना बंद कर
Oh,
दिया.
hijab. I heard job.
No,
Sorry.
hijab. What happened?
I wasn't feeling it anymore at that time. And क्या होता था, मेरा दिल बिल्कुल नहीं कर रहा था हिजाब पहनने का, और मुझे ऐसा फील होने, और शायद मैं उस वक्त थोड़ी I was a lot younger as well.
Yes.
I was in my, I don't want to say but I was younger, and I just wasn't feeling it anymore. I just felt like I didn't look good anymore, जो मुझे उस वक्त feeling हो रही थी. And what happened is I traveled to Pakistan with my family for a few days. And मैं बाहर जा रही थी और मेरा दिल नहीं कर रहा था हिजाब पहनने का, तो मैं बाहर गई और मैंने बाहर हिजाब नहीं पहना. And I was like, you know what, let me just, यहाँ पे मुझे कोई जानता नहीं है तो मैं नहीं पहनती, तो मैं बाहर गई बगैर हिजाब के. And I was sitting with my cousins and we were out just for chai and pakode and stuff. And then I was like, oh, वो मटके वाली चाय थी, तो हम बैठे हुए थे, तो मैंने कहा अच्छा मैं चाय पी रही थी और वो उस वक्त बूमरैंग का ज़माना था, तो I was like मेरी एक बूमरैंग बनाओ. तो वो बूमरैंग बनाने वाला था मेरा cousin. तो I was about to have my chai and he made a boomerang and I wasn't wearing my scarf. And then I didn't realize and I looked at it, I was like, cute hai. And then I went, wait, I'm not wearing my hijab, दोबारा बनाओ. मैंने दुपट्टा पहना हुआ था, शलवार कमीज़ पहनी थी, तो फिर मैंने दुपट्टा सर पे किया और फिर दोबारा बनाया. And then I looked at it and एक realization आई कि यार मैं क्या कर रही हूँ, कि मैं तो ये लोगों को दिखाने के लिए हिजाब कर रही हूँ, मैं अल्लाह के लिए नहीं कर रही anymore. और वो एक feeling जो उस वक्त आई थी मुझे, I hated myself. I was like, I'm not authentic. I'm not being authentic to myself or to anybody else or even to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. और उस वक्त शायद मेरा दीन भी थोड़ा शेकी था, पता नहीं क्या था, लेकिन वो एक वक्त गुजर गया मेरा. मैंने उतार दिया. मैंने कहा ऐसा है तो बेहतर है उतार दो. सही नहीं किया. I don't think कि मैंने सही किया. The person I am now, I don't think कि मैंने सही किया. लेकिन यही तो है कि आप गलतियाँ करते हो, फिर आप माफ़ी मांगते हो. अल्लाह की ज़ात है माफ़ करने वाली. अल्लाह करे अल्लाह इंशाल्लाह माफ़ करे. लेकिन ये गलती हुई थी मुझसे. And I think I spent about a year, 2-3 years without wearing it, maybe.
And you were struggling that time?
And I was struggling in a way where I always wanted to, yeah. I mean, I wanted to, but then life was in the way and I thought कि मैं बहुत busy हूँ और अच्छा पढ़ लूँगी, ये वो blah blah blah, हिजाब कर लूँगी, थोड़ी और बड़ी हो जाऊँ, ये हो जाऊँ, वो हो जाऊँ.
शादी हो जाए फिर?
नहीं, शादी का तो नहीं कभी मैंने, that never held me back, but it was more like अच्छा बस ये वाला इवेंट हो जाए या रमदान आ जाए ना तब पहनूंगी. मतलब इस तरह छोटी छोटी चीज़ें, बहाने, like शैतान्स वसवसा, you know, like that. But then I also know at that time, जो 2 साल मैंने गुजारे हैं without hijab, I knew the difference between how people perceived me when I was a hijabi and when I wasn't a hijabi.
What was the difference?
Huge difference. Huge difference. The respect you get as a woman when you are a hijabi is nowhere compared to what you get as a woman. Just like even a fully covered woman who does not wear a hijab. It's completely different. Completely 100% different.
But then how do we go about it? Because I personally have struggled with it. There was
With
a
hijab?
time, yes, there was a time I did do hijab, but then I stopped wearing it.
Yeah.
And then now life comes into the way and I'm like, मैं बाद में करूँगी, मैं थोड़े से time के बाद करूँगी, and it keeps on happening.
Yeah.
But this is not affecting, like in terms of iman. Of course, I do my prayers.
Yeah.
I do read Quran.
Kabbalah.
I do everything.
Yeah.
And I do wear modest clothes.
Yeah.
But in this part, I feel guilty that I'm not wearing hijab. I do feel guilty, and I can't share it with a lot of people because that emotions not everyone can understand.
I understand.
What tips do you have? How do I go about it?
See, I'll tell you something that really resonated with me when I started wearing hijab again 3 years ago. I saw this video of Dr. Haifa Yunus. She's this amazing woman. I'm sure a lot of people know her. She's so well spoken. इतना तहम्मुल से बात करती हैं, इतने प्यार से बात करती हैं. Absolute must listen. And she was asked this question, quote unquote, I might say a few things wrong, but she was asked about hijab and why does she wear it? And is it mandatory, is it not mandatory? Because there's always a debate with hijab, ke, is it a sunnah or is it farz?
Yeah.
It is farz. जिस तरह आपकी 5 नमाजें फ़र्ज़ हैं, औरतों के लिए हिजाब भी फ़र्ज़ है. Okay? And also one thing women say a lot is it's a choice. It's my choice whether I wear it or not. I say absolutely, and that's exactly what Dr. Haifa Yunus said as well. It is your choice. But you know what the choice is? The choice is whether you choose to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or not. So jab akhirat aayegi, when the last day of judgment comes, the question when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks you, why did you wear the hijab? Why did you not wear the hijab? You better have a really good answer rather than just saying, I wasn't ready.
I didn't feel like it.
I didn't feel like it. मुझे लगता था I just don't look pretty with hijab. You better have a really good answer. Because it is absolutely a choice, but your choice is whether you choose to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or not, because it is mandatory to wear hijab. And to be honest, I don't know why girls get so nervous. Girls look beautiful in hijab. I
No,
think they
they
look
are.
so beautiful.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Every woman I have seen wear a hijab, every single woman I have seen wear a hijab, I think it increases their beauty tenfold. I think it's your perception that you should change. And not you, I mean
Yeah,
women in general.
I know, for sure. Yeah. What is that one? I recently saw a video going viral on Instagram. You
Mine?
playing, yes.
Oh my God.
You remember the one?
Oh, yes, I know.
What are your takes on it?
I'm surprised,
Yeah, me
actually.
too.
I'm actually really surprised because I thought. So I've been a bit slow with Instagram in the last few years because, I got married, then I had a baby and everything. And Instagram was just not my priority at that time because I was looking after myself and my family. So I really thought that, the whole women empower women and all of that was like 100% there now. Like, औरतें एक दूसरे के साथ हमेशा खड़ी रहेंगी and all that. I was shocked. I was shocked with how many women, sorry. मर्दों से तो मेरी वैसे ही कोई expectation नहीं थी. लेकिन women, I was surprised with how many women were attacking me that, why are you working? Why are you working then? I don't know, maybe because I have dreams of my own. I have ambitions of my own. I'm a mother and
Who says a mom can't work?
Honestly, I'm baffled.
And there are days when you don't feel like waking up in the morning and taking care of your daughter, and it's okay. I think it's okay.
मैं खुद इतनी मैं अभी तक इस बात में I don't understand what people are thinking. I don't understand where their mindsets are. Like, the solution is not that corporate systems should change, but the solution is women should just stop working. Like, how on earth does that make sense? How?
No.
It does not make sense to me at all. मुझे honestly ये बात बिल्कुल भी, like, not a single comment made sense to me where somebody said, you shouldn't be working and your partner should be doing more than you. That does not make sense to me. I actually cannot. I've said this 5 times because I genuinely don't understand how people can think in this day and age. Forget the fact that I have my dreams and ambitions and all of these things, but in
it's
this economy,
2025. Yeah.
how can a one-income household survive?
Even 2 is not enough anymore. You need to have a side income.
Exactly. And then, it's a vicious cycle. The deeper you go into it, you find more and more issues. But then what I realized from the comments was that people don't really care about the bigger picture.
Yeah.
People are lazy. That's the only takeaway I have, that people are absolutely lazy. They're not ready to make change in big corporate systems. They don't have the guts to do it. They don't have the guts to even talk about it. And that's what baffles me.
Yeah.
What they want is that, अच्छा मतलब आप exit plan कर लो. You just leave from the side. You don't need to change anything. बस चुप करके side से निकल जाओ. Just exit.
No.
But don't change the corporate system, God forbid. Which is really shocking because, all of this virality, it made me dive deeper into finding out where the whole 8 to 9 hour working shift and everything started. So I dug deeper to find out. So early in the 1800s, the working hours were actually initially, at that time it was only men. So it was 16-hour workdays, 6 days a week. 16-hour.
Yeah.
Okay? So people started complaining that this is getting unrealistic. Then they held protests. There were protests and everything for shorter workdays. Ford was the first company in the 1800s that gave their employees an increased pay and reduced working hours of 8 hours a day and 5 days a week in early 1800s. Don't quote me on this. But this is what I remember researching. So it was Ford, which was the first company, and then it started basically trickling down to others after multiple protests that this is crazy. 16-hour workdays are crazy. So if in 1800s people can have protests, and I'm not saying have protests, but at least have the guts to speak up to your corporate managements and be like, yo, this work hour is crazy. How are you supposed to fit in a 9 work hour day, doctor appointments as well, because even doctors work 9 to 5.
Yes.
So while you're at work, you're also supposed to go and do that. Let's say, for example, what if you're really sick? Then what if your kid falls sick? Or what if, I don't know, you have a dentist appointment, or you need to go do some legal work for your documents or whatever, or you need to go pick up your child, or you need to go drop off a parent to the airport. I know these are not frequent things, but when they happen within those 9 hours or 10 hours. 5-6 बजे के बाद सब कुछ बंद हो जाता है.
Yeah.
As in, all the doctors भी अपनी छुट्टी करके घर चले जाते हैं. Everybody else goes home, whatever. It takes time. And then, let's say, for example, you have plans after 5 or after 6. You're stuck in rush hour for 2 hours. So those 2 hours are gone. You're left with, what, 8, 9 o'clock? And then you're supposed to, let's say, get home, have dinner, take a shower, prep for the next day, do something, potentially maybe cook for the next day if you want to. Then at the same time, maybe get a quick workout if you need to. आपको, मतलब, how much time do you have left to live a life?
Nothing, barely.
Nothing. But no. Solution is women should quit. That is what it baffled my mind, because it's not even about women. Men are doing the same thing. How are people supposed to have healthy relationships when one of the partners is never home, even if the woman doesn't work? Because you never get to spend time with each other. And you're so burnt out by the end of the week that when the weekend comes around, all you want to do is sleep.
Yeah, not get out of the house.
Not get out of the house and
Forget about your passion.
Exactly. How is anybody supposed to make their dreams come true and any of those things if literally corporate timings are draining you? They're draining the life out of you. But no, the solution is
Women should leave.
quit. I honestly,
I know this. Our day starts early in the morning. I don't have a kid, but yeah, it's still draining. With a kid, I can't even imagine, especially a toddler.
No, you absolutely need to have help. It takes,
Yes,
when
for
they say
sure.
it takes a village, it
But-
takes a village and a half in these days.
For sure, but it still needs you.
Yeah.
You need to be there. You can't
And
just
you know
avoid
what I
it.
find really funny? I'm sorry I'm cutting you
Yeah.
off, but you know what I find really funny is that people say, oh, your husband should like take care of the child and everything. And I'm like, बेटा आपको पता है कि रात के टाइम मेरी बेटी को सिर्फ मैं चाहिए होती हूँ? Like, what are you talking about? My husband's a great father. He's, alhamdulillah, mashallah, a great father. And my daughter loves him. But रात को उसको माँ चाहिए होती है. And that's fair.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fair. अगर उसकी तबीयत खराब होती है, उसको माँ चाहिए होती है. कोई भी बच्चा होगा, उसको माँ चाहिए होती है.
Yes, there's comfort.
So there's comfort with mothers. We still run to our mothers when we're sick.
Yeah, we do. Just a phone call makes a lot of difference.
Exactly. दिल उदास होता है या कुछ होता है, तबीयत खराब होती है, मम्मा.
I wouldn't call my dad.
I wouldn't call my dad either. I would call my mom, be like, मम्मा यार थोड़ा बुखार फील हो रहा है, क्या करूँ?
Yeah.
So like, मुझे ये चीज़ बिल्कुल, it's crazy. It's crazy how women are always the easy target.
Yeah. Then how are you planning now in Ramadan to manage faith, family, business, work?
Priorities, time management. So these things, obviously, like I've mentioned,
Yeah.
Ramadan is one of, like everyone knows, it's like a reset button to your spirituality, to your life, in every way possible. So what I'm really, really looking forward to is just the iftar and suhoor and everything with family and spending time with them. But also personally, it's just like something about Ramadan just makes you feel so closer and makes you
Yes.
feel like you're actually living your purpose of life.
Yeah.
Which I really, really love. So it's just going to be, obviously, priorities are going to shift a little bit more towards doing more dhikr, reading more Quran, and then everything else a bit slower. So inshallah, it works
Inshallah.
out. Yeah.
What is that one habit during Ramadan that you always follow?
Oh my God, that's a hard one. That's a hard one. That's a really, really hard one because पहले तो मतलब खाने के मामले में I can say so many things, but one habit that I always follow with Ramadan, it's hard. That's hard to say because it's changed so much in the last few years. Because when I was before marriage, I would make sure, because I was working and everything, I would make sure one habit that I did was, besides the whole Quran and dhikr and spending time with family, I would try to make sure that I get at least 45-minute gym session.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to stay healthy during
Before
Ramadan,
iftar.
before iftar, even though it would drain me. But then it changed to making sure I'm spending enough time with my daughter. And then, so it changes. So I'm not sure. I think when Ramadan starts, I'll probably have a better feel of what my priority is. At the moment, I'm not sure.
Do you have any book recommendations for people if they want to read in Ramadan?
So many.
One we already spoke about.
Time
Beyond
management
that,
in Islam.
yes.
One more book, the Quran.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely. That's the one book recommendation. And one thing that I would absolutely say is that instead of reading the Quran in Arabic, I think people should really consider reading the Quran with its translation.
Yes.
Because there's no point of reading something you don't understand.
The meaning is lost. Literally.
The meaning is lost. If you don't know what Allah is saying to you, because it's literally what Allah is saying to you. And I'll tell you one thing. One thing that I like doing a lot is just randomly कभी दिल उदास हो रहा हो या आप नमाज पढ़ के बैठे हो, just look at the time. Let's say, for example, it's 5 o'clock right now. Yeah. So let's say अभी 5:02 है. I would go to the Quran of the 5th chapter of the 2nd ayah and I would read that ayah. That maybe this is something directly applicable to me. This is not something like by कहीं सुन्नत में नहीं है, कहीं ऐसी कोई जगह पे नहीं है. It's just something I personally do. That I feel like it applies to my life directly. And बहुत different instances में मैंने ऐसा किया है और खुदा की कसम रेशमा, I swear, the ayah that will come to you will be like, it absolutely fits exactly what you're feeling.
It speaks to you.
It speaks to you. And you realize that, you know what, this book is a lot more than any other book you've ever read in your entire life. And that's when it hits you, like, you know what, there's a lot more this book has to offer. And then when you dig deeper into tafsir and understanding when it was revealed and what's the story behind it and iski piche jo hadith hai wo kya hai aur ye kya hai, when you dive deeper, it just gives you a holistic approach to everything. So absolutely 110% the book that I recommend that everybody try to read is the Quran with translation.
Cool. It was great talking to you.
It was
Heba.
so great speaking to you.
It was wholesome. It was heart-to-heart conversation. You did not have any filters while sharing anything. And I'm really happy to know this side of Heba because I thought that you're a very arrogant person and I'm sure you get this a lot.
Really?
Yeah, I have no clue why.
Dude, I get this a lot
I know.
actually.
I told you might get this a lot.
I do actually. मुझे पता है स्कूल से ही मिलता था.
Yes, for
कि
sure.
She's this.
You know, again, I've said this off camera, but I have been following you since 2015, really, and I have seen you through every phase of life, and I always found you बहुत arrogant. For some reason, I have no.
क्यों? मैं ऐसा
I have
क्या
no
करूँ?
clue.
Is it
But
my
you are
face?
No,
Is it
I
my
don't
face?
know.
Because I've been told I have a resting, I don't know if I can cuss, but like, you know, a
yeah,
resting this face.
Yeah.
That face. I've always been told that I have that. And I'm like, but I'm genuinely such.
Is it because you're opinionated?
I don't know.
But then you don't come out as opinionated. You're a great listener as well.
I mean, look, I've always been the type of person where if I have something strong to say, I will say it.
Mm-hmm.
I will say it. And I always liked taking the lead on things. I've always liked being front and center of everything that I do. That's just me as a person.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that comes off as
Arrogance,
because it's not arrogance to me. For me, it's just confidence.
Yeah.
For me, it's just believing in myself. But there are also times where I doubt myself. Believe it or not,
Yes,
there have
yes,
been
for sure.
plenty of social settings where I come off as, oh my God, I'm like, I got this. Like, you know what? I'm so good. Like even this podcast, for example, when I started talking to you, I was nervous.
Yeah.
I was nervous, but I can't show that on camera because I can't. I can't show it on camera. I have to be professional because this is what I do.
Yeah.
And I will speak to you with poise and confidence. Like I got my stuff together.
Yeah. But I'm glad I saw this side of Heba.
I'm so glad that you did too.
Happy about it. Heba, this is the last segment of the show, which is called as Unfiltered Sawal, which is sweetened by Woka.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you a few questions and you have to be real about it.
Ouch.
What's something you pretend to like but you actually don't?
So what's something I pretend to like but I actually don't? The Hermes Birkin bag.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you ever feel like you're just winging it when people think that you've got it all together.
Absolutely, 100%, all the time.
Yeah?
All the time.
How do you do that? How do you manage to stay so confident?
I think nobody really knows. I think it's from one of the shows, Euphoria, where the girl says that people don't really know that confidence is just like an act,
Yeah. A face.
a face. Like people don't know that. You might be drowning inside, but if you just have an act on, it's fine. But then for me, it's always like the first 3 seconds of anything that I do is the most nervous thing that I do. It's like,
Yeah.
it's nerve-wracking. Like when I introduced Junoon, this Pakistani band, I introduced them on stage
Yeah.
in 2020
Yeah.
when there was a concert, and it was my first time in front of 5,000 people where I stood on stage and I introduced them on. And believe it or not, मैं काम पर ही थी उससे पहले. But I was like, no, I got this.
Yeah.
When I got on stage, first 3 seconds where I was like, hi, da da da. 3 seconds in, I'm good. Then it became like, oh my God, I love it. I think it's just, yeah.
Yeah. It's just the act.
It's just the act, yeah.
What's a stereotype about women that annoys you the most?
Oh, there's so many. That they can't drive. Oh my God, I hate that one. I hate that
I hate
one. I
it too.
hate it so much because I think I'm
Women
a better...
are great drivers.
Women are the best drivers. I
Yeah.
think there's so many women who are better drivers than so many men. 100%.
We said it. What's something that looks glamorous from the outside but is actually exhausting?
Ooh. Working... Being a content creator. Being a content creator. Like, people think it's all glam, it's all minting money and all of that, but no, more than half of the time we're getting barter collaborations. So
I want to ask you about this, Heba, that you've been a content creator for a long time
Yes.
now. Have you ever had this thought that why my followers are not in millions right now?
absolutely,
Yeah.
so many times, so many times कि यार मैं मतलब I feel like I have that kind of personality.
Yes,
and जब
you
मैं
do.
लोगों से भी बात करती हूँ वो भी मुझे ये कहते हैं कि तुम्हारे पास वो personality है. I don't know why, blah, blah, blah. सोचा तो बहुत है लेकिन फिर accept भी कर लिया क्योंकि अगर अल्लाह ने मेरी किस्मत में लिखा नहीं है तो इसका मतलब यही होगा.
Yeah. Okay. If money wasn't an issue, what would you still be doing?
Oh, if money wasn't an issue, I would be chilling somewhere where there is the mountains and greenery, and I would have a huge house in the mountains with a beautiful play area and just chilling with my kid and my family, and yeah, that would be the ideal life if
You're
money
not
was no
about
option.
city life?
Oh no.
Yeah,
Oh no.
me
I
neither.
love nature.
Yeah. I always talk to my husband that I want like cows urine there, hens running. Like literally like
Like have
a
your own farm.
cottage.
Oh my
Yes, like a cottage life.
That would be so
Like
amazing.
10-20 cats around.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we can be neighbors.
Yeah,
at this
I
point.
think so.
Yeah.
Okay, do you think work-life balance is real, or is it just something that we like to pretend it exists?
We like to pretend it exists.
It is not real.
It's not true.
There is
There's
no
no such
work, there is no life, there's just work.
There's just work. I think whether you're single or not single, married, not married, whatever relationship status you have, there is no such thing as a work-life balance unless you work for, I don't know, somebody who gives you really, really good hours.
Yeah. And rarely companies all over the world actually do that.
No,
I
very
have
rare.
my work starting at 8 o'clock. I get done at 6 o'clock. I'm home at 7:30. I sleep by 10. I just have like 2 hours to manage everything. And if I wouldn't have had house help, I'd be exhausting. Nothing. I can't
Exactly.
do anything.
Exactly.
Not even cook home.
Which
Cook at
is
home.
really sad.
Yes, which is really sad.
Really,
And
really.
especially Indian and Pakistani food. Oh my God. We
Very
can't
nice.
survive just on salads.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we can't survive on takeout either.
No.
Because let's be honest.
No, we can't.
We can't survive on takeout.
We need our roti sabzi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Chalan.
imagine, like, if people had, I personally also tend to think that agar work-life balance hoga na, even in terms of the economy, it's going to be better because what people are going to end up doing is that they'll have more time to spare for their personal life. So they'll be spending more on restaurants and staycations and holidays and other things. But because there's no time for anyone to do any of those things, people are not spending money.
Yeah.
Because they're spending on things like meal plans
Yeah.
and house help and nannies and these things. क्योंकि to live a life जो luxury खर्चे होते हैं like holidays या branded bags
They don't spend on happiness.
They don't spend on happiness.
Yes.
People don't spend on that. They spend on just trying to survive.
Yeah, and it's so sad.
And it's so sad because you're literally like hand to mouth at the end of every month. Because you're just like, यार बस मतलब अगला महीना आएगा ना पर उसमें से ये खर्चा कर लें. It's sad. It's really sad. और जितने लोगों से बात करो सबकी यही complain है. लेकिन नहीं.
Thank you so much, Heba. I'll keep it
Thank you
here.
so much for having me. That's lovely. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Heba. This was really great. Okay, I've already summarized from my end, and I absolutely enjoyed talking to you. It's a different perception to life. It's a different perception seeing that there is a woman same as my age also struggling with work, life, iman, and finding balance and how she's doing everything.
Yeah.
And it was really insightful.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so
It was
much.
such a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for having me. I absolutely loved it. I enjoyed it so much.
You're meat. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this podcast. If you liked it, do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow me on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Geo Savan, and Angami. And I'll see you next time with another guest. Bye.